Imagine a factory floor run by AI that secretly favors one group of workers over another, or an HVAC system that ignores the comfort of certain employees. Sound like science fiction? It's a real, growing concern in industrial automation. Today, we're going to show you exactly how we're embedding ethical principles directly into AI algorithms, ensuring fairness and preventing bias before it ever impacts your operations. Welcome back to the channel. We often talk about how AI is revolutionizing industrial engineering, making everything faster, smarter, and more efficient. But there's a critical conversation we need to have. One that goes beyond just performance metrics and ROI. We need to talk about ethics, specifically ethical AI in engineering, and how we can ensure the algorithms running our factories, managing our supply chains, and controlling our buildings are fundamentally fair. So, what exactly do we mean by bias in an industrial AI? It's not about an AI having personal opinions. Instead, it's about systematic, repeatable errors that create unfair outcomes. This bias can creep in from a few key sources. The most common culprit is the data we feed the AI. If historical data reflects past human biases, the AI will learn and amplify them. For example, if past promotion data in a company was skewed, an AI trained on that data to identify high-potential employees might unfairly overlook qualified candidates from underrepresented groups. The same principle applies to operational data. An AI scheduling maintenance tasks might learn from historical data to deprioritize equipment in a certain part of the factory, not because it's less critical, but because that's what human managers used to do. Another source of bias is the algorithm itself. The way we design a model, the features we choose to include or exclude, can unintentionally lead to discriminatory outcomes. Let's say, we're building an AI for predictive maintenance on a fleet of delivery trucks. If we include the driver's home neighborhood as a data point, the model might correlate certain neighborhoods with higher vehicle wear and tear. This could lead to drivers from those areas being unfairly flagged as high risk or receiving older vehicles, even if their driving habits are perfect. The correlation is misleading, but the AI doesn't know that unless we design it to. The consequences of this are huge. We're talking about real-world impacts on people's livelihoods, safety, and well-being. Think about an AI system that allocates overtime shifts. If it's biased, it could consistently give more lucrative shifts to one demographic, creating significant income disparities. Or consider a safety monitoring system. If its computer vision algorithm was primarily trained on images of a specific demographic, it might be less accurate at detecting safety hazards for other workers, putting them at greater risk. Beyond the human cost, there are massive business risks. Legal challenges, reputational damage, and a loss of trust from both employees and customers. A system that is unfair is also a system that is flawed and unreliable. So, how do we fix this? The solution isn't to abandon AI, it's to build it better, with ethics and fairness as core design principles from day one. This process starts long before a single line of code is written. It begins with the data. The first step is a rigorous data audit. We need to scrutinize our data sets for hidden biases. Are all demographic groups represented fairly? Does the data reflect historical inequalities? We can use statistical tools to measure the distribution of different attributes and identify potential imbalances. For example, in a dataset for training a quality control AI, we need to ensure we have images of products under various lighting conditions and handled by people with different skin tones to avoid performance disparities. When we find imbalances, we have a few options. We can collect more data from underrepresented groups. This is the gold standard, but it's not always feasible. Alternatively, we can use data augmentation techniques. For image data, this could mean digitally altering existing images, changing brightness, rotating them, or even synthetically generating new, diverse data points. For tabular data, techniques like SMOTE, which stands for Synthetic Minority Oversampling Technique, can create new synthetic data points for the minority class, helping to balance the dataset without simply duplicating existing information. But cleaning the data is only half the battle. We also need to build fairness directly into the model training process. This is where things get really interesting. We can introduce what are called fairness constraints during training. Essentially, we're telling the AI not just to be accurate, but to be accurate and fair. There are different definitions of fairness we can use. One is demographic parity, which means the model's predictions are independent of a sensitive attribute like gender or ethnicity. For our shift allocation example, This would mean the percentage of people from each group assigned to overtime is the same. Another concept is equality of opportunity. This means the model's true positive rate is the same across different groups. For the safety system, it would mean the AI is equally good at correctly identifying a safety incident, regardless of who is involved. Choosing the right fairness metric depends entirely on the context of the problem. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, and sometimes, these fairness definitions can even conflict with each other. This requires a thoughtful, multi-stakeholder discussion involving engineers, ethicists, legal experts, and the people who will be affected by the system. It's not just a technical decision. It's a socio-technical one. Once the model is trained, the work still isn't done. We need to test it, not just for overall accuracy, but for fairness. This involves segmenting the test results by different demographic groups and comparing performance. We use tools like fairness dashboards to visualize how the model performs for different slices of the population. For instance, we might see that our predictive maintenance model is 95% accurate overall, but only 80% accurate for a specific type of older equipment, revealing a hidden bias. If we find bias, we go back. We might need to adjust the data, retrain the model with different fairness constraints, or even reconsider the problem framing itself. It's an iterative loop of building, testing, and refining. This brings us to one of the most important concepts in ethical AI, transparency and explainability. It's not enough for a system to be fair. We need to be able to understand why it's making the decisions it is. This is the black box problem. Many complex AI models, like deep neural networks, can be incredibly difficult to interpret. Thankfully, a whole field of explainable AI, or XAI, has emerged to tackle this. Techniques like LIME and SHAP can help us peek inside the black box. They can highlight which specific features most influenced a particular decision. For an AI that denied a worker a training opportunity, XAI could show us that it wasn't because of their age or background, but because of a specific, verifiable skill gap identified in their performance history. This transparency is crucial for building trust. It allows us to debug our models for bias, gives operators the ability to override faulty AI recommendations, and provides a clear basis for recourse if someone believes they've been treated unfairly. Let's ground this in a real-world industrial example. Imagine a large logistics company using AI to optimize delivery routes. A naive algorithm might just focus on minimizing travel time and fuel cost, but this could lead to unintended consequences. It might consistently send drivers through high-traffic, high-stress areas, leading to burnout. Or it might concentrate pollution from delivery trucks in specific, often lower-income, neighborhoods. An ethically designed system would look different. First, the team would define a broader set of objectives, beyond just efficiency. They would include metrics for driver well-being, like minimizing time in heavy congestion, and environmental justice, like distributing the environmental impact more evenly. Next, they'd gather diverse data, including traffic patterns at all times of day, historical data on driver feedback and stress levels, and demographic data about the neighborhoods on the routes. During model training, they would use fairness constraints to ensure that no single group of drivers or residents bears a disproportionate burden. Finally, the system would be transparent. A dispatcher could click on a proposed route and see why the AI chose it, explaining the trade-offs it made between speed, fuel cost, driver stress, and community impact. This allows for human oversight and ensures the AI is serving a holistic set of values, not just a narrow optimization function. Building ethical AI in engineering is not a simple checklist. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. It requires us to move from asking, "Can we build it?" to asking, "Should we build it? And if so, how do we build it responsibly?" It demands interdisciplinary collaboration, continuous vigilance, and a deep commitment to human values. The future of industrial automation is incredibly exciting, but its success will be measured not just by the efficiencies we gain, but by the fairness we uphold. By embedding ethics into the very core of our algorithms, we can build a future where technology empowers everyone, creating workplaces that are not only smarter, but also more just and equitable. It's a challenge, but it's one we must embrace to build a future we can all be proud of. Thanks for watching. What are your biggest concerns about AI bias in your industry? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of engineering. See you in the next one.